Welcome to the Belly of the Beast, your home for original horror content. Warning, some of our stories may be upsetting for some individuals. Listen at your own risk.
Today we will be doing our Thanksgiving special. Today's story is written and narrated by me, Sleepwalker. The story I have for you today is called The Feast. Thanksgiving, a time for friends, family, football, but most importantly, the feast. I look forward to the food every single year. My name is Brian. I'm 29, and this would be my first Thanksgiving with my girlfriend Julie and her family. In the past, I would usually work on Thanksgiving. I haven't been to a family dinner on it since my parents divorced 8 years ago. I was nervous but excited to go. I arrived with Julie and met her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson, her brother Keith, and Mrs. Ferguson's coworker, Jake. They were all so nice and welcoming, talking to me about how great it was that their daughter found someone like me. We had small talk. From there, it lasted about an hour. Then, Mr. Ferguson's phone rang. He instantly went from happy and smiling to annoyed and angry, and he hung up the phone fairly quickly. The room went silent. "The neighbors aren't coming anymore," he said, finally breaking the silence. Was that it? Was that really what made him so mad? "It's going to be okay, dear," Mrs. Ferguson calmly replied back. "I know, I was just looking forward to them coming." "I'm sorry they canceled," I quietly said to Mr. Ferguson. "It's okay. Well, we really wanted to have them for dinner," Mr. Ferguson told me. The way he said it, it sent chills down my spine. Then slowly, the chills faded, as the football game caught my attention. Lions versus the Packers. This should be a good one. After a little bit, Mrs. Ferguson got up and went to go finish up dinner, calling Julie and Jake in to help her with it. I asked if she wanted my help too, but she kindly said, "Oh no, you just relax. I don't want you coming in this kitchen. It'll ruin the surprise of you seeing all this delicious food." So I sat watching the game with Keith and Mr. Ferguson, just relaxing. After about 2 hours, dinner was ready. I sat at the table and saw a whole feast of stuffing, sweet potatoes, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, gravy, cornbread, but no turkey. It appeared to be a pot roast, or maybe a prime rib of some kind. It smelled amazing. I then noticed something else. "Where's Jake?" I asked. "He wasn't feeling good, so he went home," Julie quickly stated. "Oh, okay, let's eat then," I say, not wanting to overthink it too much. We ate almost everything. It was so good, especially the prime rib. I've never had prime rib like that. Later after dinner, we all started playing some card games and had a ton of pie, apple, pumpkin, blueberry, and it was so nice to feel like a part of a family again. Towards the end of the night, Julie and I were about to leave. We started packing up all of our stuff, getting our coats on, and then it hit me. I really had to go to the bathroom. I went off to go find it, and it took me a couple minutes, but I found one right next to the kitchen. After I went, I had a thought. I want to get a little more pie before we go. So I went into the kitchen and finally saw what was in there. What they didn't want me to see earlier, and what had happened to Jake. Blood and guts were everywhere, spilling all over, pooling on the ground around a center island where Jake lay dead, both of his legs gone, his stomach cut open, and some of his intestines falling out. And then I noticed the meat laying sliced up next to him. I felt a wave of nausea and gagging when it hit me. The sliced meat looked just like the prime rib. I screamed, and then the whole Ferguson family busted into the kitchen. "You weren't supposed to come in here," Mr. Ferguson angrily exclaimed. I was too in shock to speak, to move, to do anything. I then felt as Julie wrapped her arm around me and came right next to me, speaking directly in my ear. "I didn't think you would like the dinner if you knew what it was." I still couldn't process anything. "The dinner was so good, though. Great, that's what you said it was to us." Mrs. Ferguson interjected with, "Don't freak out, honey. Just come and be part of the family. I know how much you've wanted to be part of a family. I I do want a family." I finally admit to them and to myself. And the dinner did taste amazing. I know all of this is wrong, but in that moment, I only said one more thing to them. "So, next year, do you think the neighbors will come? I can't wait to have them for dinner."
I hope you enjoyed today's story. Please like and subscribe as it will help us to continue to provide you with great content. Until next time, stay safe and avoid becoming one of the stories from the belly of the beast.